Welcome everybody. Level M Diecast, hot off the pegs. Finally something new. I wouldn't say super exciting, but it is something new, at least at the peg, something a little bit different. This is the newest release of Pink Slips. I guess you can call this the actual 2024 release. Very interesting. These actually popped up outside the US many months ago, about May. April, May is when they popped up in other countries. Now, the original packages for those came with boxes. These come with the collectible tins. So this might be exclusive to the US market. We do have, of course, the whole set here. There is a change, though. So the original mix that was released did not include the McLaren Senna. That was actually the Porsche Cayenne, but that has been changed for the US mix. Don't know if we're still going to get that Porsche Cayenne or not. Hopefully we do. But either way, we are going to go ahead and crack these open. Now, the other interesting thing about these is the price has been reduced from previous Pink Slip releases. These now retail for $294 at Walmart. So, premium model, rubber tires, suspension moving parts for $3. Mattel, eats your heart out. All right, let's kick it off. Aston Martin Vantage GT8. This is not a new casting from, as you guys know, Majorette. So these are Majorette castings, by the way. Although I don't see any Majorette on the back of the card, which I guess is fine. It's fine. It's sold under the Jada brand entirely, so it's fine. But they are Majorette castings, so we'll pop this out of there, get the plastic and stuff out of there. Of course, they do come with the collectible tins. I frankly think this is a complete waste. Nobody's ever going to use these tins, but they are there and they are metal. It says Pink Slips on this side, Pink Slips on that side, and then just some really nice print on the top. Made in China. There is your base deets. You see, it still says Majorette, obviously, because these are Majorette castings. 1/60th scale for our McLaren GT Vantage, GT8 Vantage. Lens headlights, as usual. The prints look very good. The orange print around there, a little bit of orange print on the lip as well. The car does have suspension, although it uses these really big rubber tires, so the suspension pretty much doesn't do anything, but you can see the metal bar in there. The tires are rubber. It is rubber tires, so those are real riders. The prints on the back look pretty good as well. Get that up close. It says Vantage GT8. So a little bit off on the taillight prints on this particular one, unfortunately. But even a little bit of print on the side mirror. And of course, these do have opening doors. So there is your opening doors. That is a pretty decent cockpit. It's not a full-on racing cockpit, which is kind of interesting. But it looks pretty good. Just big, wide, open doors. So not a bad one to kick off with. So we'll kind of put him right there. All right, next one up, Porsche 918 Spyder. And of course, in true Pink Slips fashion, these cars are a little bit out there with their decos. I don't think they're dramatically crazy, but I do think it's actually a pretty nice welcome change. There is the tin for this one. It's kind of hand drawn. Looks pretty good. The prints are pretty crisp on there as well. So again, not too fancy. There's nothing in the box. There's never nothing in the box, so just pointing that out. There is our 918 Spyder. That is a satin finish on there. Looks very good. The yellow striping goes around the entire top of the car, and it's actually lined up exceptionally well. You see it goes all the way over to this side. 918 Spyder on the side. This guy does not have suspension. He is what they would call the street car range, which is a little bit lower class of the castings for Majorette. But there is the deeds on the front. Still has lensed headlights. That is still a rubber tire. That's actually one of the newer wheel designs as well. That wheel design right there is relatively new. That looks really good on this particular one. A little bit of that neon yellow color there. Neon print again in the back. And then, of course, it says Porsche 918 Spyder. Very nice details. Print on the top. It's a pretty good one. This one happens to be 1/61 scale. What it claims to be. So we'll put him there. All right, the one that most people are going to go after just because it fits the collecting motif, the Nissan GTR Nismo GT3. This is the GT3 class Nismo. So, pretty excited about this one. I do have, I think I have all the versions they've released so far of this casting, which It's been a little bit difficult being in the U.S., but luckily I got friends abroad that help me out with that stuff. There is the tin. I really like this tin particularly. That looks like just a real picture of it, just with like some filters over it. That looks pretty good. And of course, there's nothing in there. Who knows? Maybe I'll open these one time and we'll get some Thailand bug come flying out and maybe kill me. I don't know. There is our GTR Nismo. It does have a little bit of that flag detail on the hood in white. This is a bit of a kind of a satin finish for the greens, kind of right in the middle of satin and matte. Looks good. Dull gloss for the roof print on there. There is the print on the side. It says Nismo. It does have the same 5 spokes as that GT8 that we started with. Suspension on this one is a little bit tight just because they use those big wheels. This one is supposedly 1/64 scale itself. The prints in the back look pretty good. The back of this casting doesn't have a ton of details as far as like casting details itself. It's just a race car, so it's not going to be super crazy. Prints on the front look good. It says GTR Nismo in the grill. Headlight lensed headlights. There we go. I figure out how to talk. Now this one is a true racing interior. It does have a full cage in there. Looks good. Well, it's got the door cage in there. And then, of course, no passenger seat because, of course, it is a race car. You see there's just is some type of racing components down in there. It looks really good, but nice that it has opening doors. Not a huge fan of the particular color, but I think they pulled that one off relatively well. All right, the stand-in model. I'm not really sure why we didn't get the Cayenne. I'm not really sure why we got a different one. McLaren Senna. There's nothing wrong with this casting, but I don't know. I was just expecting the Cayenne because, that was the one that released in the original mix. So now we're going to have to hunt down the Cayenne because I don't know if we're going to get it. Again, the prints looks okay. This one's a little bit of a step back from what we've been looking at. But, yeah, the lid comes off, by the way, completely. So you don't have to keep the lid on there. There is our McLaren Senna, of course, in like British racing green, for the most part, with some gold trim on there. It does have lensed headlights, although they're super small. And then, of course, there is your McLaren logo. Looks pretty good. Details on the side are pretty average. It uses these 5 spokes, which they're just way too big for this particular model. They're just huge. And then there's some print details in the back. Third taillight print there. The print there for McLaren as well. Big wing on the back looks pretty good. This one does, of course, have opening doors. So in proper McLaren Senna opening doors, pretty much the entire door and the roof together. Very large piece. And then just the black print that goes in between, not on the doors, just in the middle there. It looks pretty good. And then the base Dietz 1/56th scale is what they claim this one to be. So they're all relatively scaled to each other. They're not perfect, but they're close. They're close. All right, one that's a little bit more down to earth, especially compared to what we've seen. This is the Ford Mustang GT. This is the newest casting of the Ford Mustang GT that Majorette currently has. Who knows? They might do the current generation, but for now, this is the most current one that they currently have. So we'll get this popped out of there. Some packaging out of here. Always fighting with the packaging all the time. That one's pretty good. I like it from the back. It's a different take on it. Again, nothing with the totes. I'm hoping that one day I open that up and there's like, I don't know, $1 million Taiwanese dollar or Thailand dollars in there. Who knows? All right, Ford Mustang GT. This one has a little bit of print there on the side. It says pink slips. Very interesting. I did not expect it to say pink slips. That's all right. Looks good. The blue and kind of mustardish orange, kind of a lighter orange. Looks good. It does use a different wheel, and of course there is that nice suspension. Still rubber tires, as always. The side marker lights there look good. There is the prints on the back. It says GT. A lot of Majorette castings are this hook assembly. So supposedly that's not allowed in the U.S. That's why you see a lot of cars from like Hot Wheels and Matchbox doing the posts like almost in the middle of the car, because you know, they're not supposed to be able to do this hook assembly. Now, this particular Mustang has 2 moving features. Yes, 2 moving features. There is the opening doors. There is the details inside. Pretty good interior, especially compared to Hot Wheels and Matchbox. It actually looks like an actual interior. It actually looks like a Mustang. And then this one actually has an opening trunk as well. So very interesting that they got to use the two moving feature casting, because they do have one that does not have both moving features. So that looks pretty good. And then moving on to our base deets. This one says it's also 1/64 scale. So made in Thailand. So that looks pretty good. I mean, that's $294 for that. Rubber tires, 2 moving features, full print all the way around, $3 and a tin. Like, Mattel can't touch that no matter what they do. That's insanity. All right, last model up, Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4. Looking average. This is a good casting. The problem is that with these giant wheels, the way that a lot of majorettes are assembled, this particular casting really suffers because of that. You know, this is one of those castings that really has to be low slung. This one looks pretty good. I'm not really sure why they gave it a red glare on the windshield. Not really sure if that was the intended purpose or that's just the way it happened, but there you go. Get that on there. It pops, clicks, or snaps, or however you want to put it. So we'll try to squeeze in the Countach there at the end. So there is our Countach. We'll get the doors in the right spot. They don't quite sit there right, from the factory. It says PS on there for pink slips. That is part of the interior, the back side of that scoop. The front side is printed. Looks good. Of course, lensed headlights as typical. Lamborghini logo on the front. No prints down the top, but it does have that nice clear window brake, which looks good. Deets on the back does have printed up taillights. It does also say Lamborghini. Looks pretty good. This one does have suspension as well. But you see, it sits too high. It does have the offset wheels, so big ones in the back, small ones in the front, but it just doesn't look right. And of course, it does have true Lambo doors. Opening Lambo doors looks good. So they go up there, gull wing style or scissor doors or however you want to. I guess it's not gull wing. I guess they're scissor doors, but looks pretty good. And they don't like click or anything. They just go down and sit where they're supposed to sit. And then there is your base deets. This one claims to be 1/66th scale. So throw that down there. So there you go. That is the newest pink slips mix to drop. Not sure if we're going to get that Cayenne or not. We got this McLaren instead. It's kind of an interesting choice that they mixed. They changed a model on there, which is, who knows? Who knows what the purpose is behind that. Clearly, it wasn't a Porsche license issue because we still have a Porsche in there. But then they gave us the tins and dropped the price. So I'm not really sure how that all panned out. But hopefully there's plenty more pink slips coming down the pipeline. These ones took forever and a year to pop up. They're finally here. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about those. Let me know if you're going to pick those up. Did find these at Wally Mart, but they should show up at any retailer that does carry pink slips. But we're going to roll out. Appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button. Peace.